Okay, this is our last part of this. It's often necessary to dilute a solution from one concentration to another. In chemistry, a solution is a homogeneous mixture composed of two or more substances. In such a mixture, a solute is the substance dissolved in another solution, known as the solvent. So all this is saying that, like for salt water, the salt would be the solute, and it's dissolved in another substance, which in this case would be the water. But you can mix more than just salt and water. You can mix salt and maybe who knows what else and water. But most of the time we're talking about medicine, right? Or different kinds of mixtures that we need for different things in chemistry. Dilute a 20% chemical solution of 3 liters to a 5% solution by adding to the solvent. It sounds confusing, but hang on here. If the 20% solution, if the solution is 20%, there's 20 parts of the solute, or the salt, or the whatever, to every 100 parts of the solvent, water, whatever. Knowing that we have 3 liters of the solution. So we have 3 liters of this solution, and we want to know how much of the chemical is in that. But we do know that it's 5%. So that's the same. We do know that there's 20 parts for every 100. So there's 20 parts of salt for every 100 parts of water. So if we have 3 liters of water, how much salt do we have? Sticking with our salt water solution. Cross multiply and divide, and we got 0.6 of the solute. So that X there is 0.6. So now we want to take that solution, 0.6 liters over 3 liters, or 0.6 whatever over 3 liters of the solute, and we want to add water. And by adding water, we will dissolve it. And we want this to be equal to 5 parts in 100. Does that make sense? It should make sense. This is 0.6 of the solute, 3 liters of the solvent, and we want 5 of the solute for every 100 of the solvent. So we don't want to make the bottom number here 100. We want to make this ratio equal to this ratio. How do we make one ratio equal to another ratio? Cross multiply and divide. But be careful here. This is 5 times 3 plus X. And how do you do equals 0.6 times 100? Now, how do you do this? You have to use the distributive property here. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 5 times X is 5X, equals 60. Subtract 15 from both sides and divide by 5, and the answer is 9. So if I add 9 liters to this 0.6 over 3 liter solution, I will have a concentration of 5%. Which is 5 over 100. So we need to add 9 liters to the 3 liter 20% solution in order to obtain a 5% solution. So this one we will do ourselves. So it's our last example for 5.4. We're going to dilute a 35% chemical solution of 5 liters to a 15% solution by adding to the solvent. So we're going to do the same thing we just did above. So if we have a 35% chemical solution, this is what it means. So there is the 35 out of 100. Now it doesn't mean that there's 35 of the solute and 100 of the solvent, but that's the percentage. And so what am I going to put there? Well, we don't know how much of the solute, but we do know that there's 5 liters. So we're just going to cross multiply and divide here. I'm kind of let you do that, and I'll just put the answer in. We want to hit pause. Then I'm getting 1.75. Put that in there. So if I have 1.75 to 5 is the same thing as 35 to 100, but I only had 5, so I had to figure this out. So now that I have that, I want to take this here. Let's take the whole thing. Well, let's just do this. That's what I have, and that's a 35% solution. Now I'm going to add X liters to this. It's like just diluting it. I'm going to keep the same amount of the solute, but I'm just going to add to the solvent. And when I'm done adding, I want to have a ratio that's equal to, what am I going to put there? Think about it. Think. 15 over 100. I want this to be equal to 15 over 100. If I keep adding numbers here, eventually I'll get there. But it's nice that we can use the math, because what I'm going to do is cross multiply and divide. Now I'm going to do the first cross multiplication. So you might want to hit pause and see what I get, see what you get here. So that's what we get when we cross multiply. Notice you have to use the distributive property. Now what am I going to do here? I'm going to subtract 75 from both sides. And then I will have, whoops, move this down. So now I'm going to have, insert equation here, 15x equals 100. Move that over. Hopefully you know now to divide both sides by 15. I'm going to get the amount of liters that I need to add is 100 divided by 15, which is 6.67, or 6.666 forever. Alright, so that's how many liters I need to add to this to dilute this 35% solution to a 15% solution. Now I just want to prove here in the end what I have. So I'm going to put an equation here. And I have 1.75 of the solute. And now I have 5 plus 6.66667 of the solvent, which is equal to, add those, 1.75 over 11.666667. And if I just divide this and then move the decimal 2 places to make it into a percentage, so I'm going to divide these two numbers. 1.75 divided by 11.666666. I'm going to get 1. Let's see. I'm going to get 0.15 over 1, which is the same as 15 over 100, which is the same as 15%. So it works, right? I checked my work.